Louise, Matthias, and Nathan's photo essay. So the main theme that we were tracking was grief, as you can see by the title, Seven Stages of Grief, and it really worked well with our project because we were there's 7 photos and 7 stages of grief. So yeah, so our main thing was just how Anne and the family were overcoming grief with Min's passing. So the first photo was shock. So this is like the bedroom scene. How it was really shocking. The quote that we used here: 3 days later, Min took his life with a yellow nylon rope tied to his bedroom rafters. Um, then the caption was Min's final resting place, a death seemingly obvious and yet disregarded. So we thought to put shock because it's kind of contradicting because a lot of times Anne says that like all the signs were there, so it really should not have been so shocking. They should have done something about it, but but they disregarded it, and that's why it has the shock. And then so more photos, we have denial, which was like the clash of the East and West cultures, anger, which was the family's ticking time bomb, despair, which was alcohol, how Anne just wants to drink alcohol, depression was a teardrop, showing the family's emptiness, reconciliation. We chose to put like all the stages in one photo, and how it's just overwhelming, and then finally acceptance and moving forward. So yeah.
As for the range and variety of our 7 pictures, I think that we have a really wide range of pictures. I thought that we stayed really close to the rubric and what you gave us, and how each picture is different. Like there's a portrait, there's a close up, all of those. So in that sense, it's a big range. But then in the sense that it also matched up really well with the theme that we were going with, grief in the 7 stages. And yeah, I think we definitely each picture should represent something different, and but no picture is like the others. So we definitely have a wide variety.
Hmm.
Heading on to Matthias, I think our photo essay is definitely the right correct sequence. We're staying on top of the 7 stages of grief, starting with shock, which we used the photo of like Min's bedroom of her death, basically, and we ended with the clincher photo, which is the Louis picture of basically peacefulness and acceptance. So I think we were stayed completely on top of the 7 stages of grief.
Yeah. So regarding to captions, so like I mentioned before, we had a quote for every photo, and then we also added a short sentence just to kind of explain the photo, how it really relates. So the last one, it's that's very bad. Water spirits are strongest at night. So the healing coin has healed many people before. Has healed many people before. Very powerful. So it's kind of like An's darkest moments are like finally healed by passion, compassion, and forgiveness. He can finally move forward. So it's just like explaining how An is carrying on with his life and how he's adapting to his situation, and just finding acceptance. So yeah, so we have a lot of different captions for each photo.
As for if our pictures are visually appealing, I think is what I think that we can all agree that we think it's definitely visually appealing. Um, because there's a different sense. Like for example, then now we took a panorama picture that we thought with the poem between it really showed the two worlds. You also have the despair picture of the wine glass. I thought that that was a very artsy picture. And then of course you have at the very end Louis looking out into the horizon, and I mean, who can't find that appealing? As for what we did to prepare, I thought we were very deliberate with the pictures we chose and how we decided to choose them. I think that like it's one thing to have an idea and have like a good idea for a picture, but it's another to actually take a good picture. Because without the appeal of the pictures, it wouldn't be as good of a photo essay.
In terms of our creativity, I think we definitely utilized our skills and strengths. So we definitely like discussed on what photos we're gonna take and who's taking those photos, as well as like what quotes we're gonna use. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing that I'm most proud of is probably finding quotes for every piece, because I know the minimum was just four, but then we decided to really challenge ourselves to find quotes to highlight everything, and I would say like we did a really good job because when we had like something about depression, then we had a quote about the family feeling empty without Min. If it was despair about alcohol, then we had a quote about on just wanting to drink and whore away his days. So we did a really good job with finding quotes, I think.
I would say the proudest, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what Louis says, was the pictures we found. I think that at times we really tried to think outside the box and think of how our picture can match our quote, which also matches one of the stages. So it's definitely a lot of planning, but I think that all of our pictures really ended up portraying what we wanted to portray, and it also looks good. So yeah.
I'm most proud of our organization and planning in general. So, like when we started the project, we were actually able to finish taking all our photos in one day, and then we were able to plan out like on which days and times we were to call like at home, so that we can discuss on what codes and caption we use. So I think we're very proud of it, and
Yeah,
we
just
even
working
created a
together.
group chat, so that was really useful.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Thank you.
thank you.